lonestar.com.
You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW and 106.1 KZCC Conroe and worldwide on the irlonestar.com.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rick Schisler. I'm your host, and you are listening to the Weekly Business Hour. I'm a Silver Fox advisor and also the founder of OneBestConsult.com. And today we're broadcasting live, as we usually do, from the studios of Lone Star Community Radio. Studios are located in downtown Conroe, Texas, the county seat of Montgomery County, one of the fastest growing counties in America. So a great place to do business. Just a quick comment about Lone Star Community Radio. Lone Star Community Radio is a nonprofit. We're all volunteers. And if you're listening to the show and you're within 20, 30, 50 miles, and you want to volunteer, you want to connect, you can become a sponsor or just a contributor. We're here to connect the community with each other. And my program, the Weekly Business Hour, is all about connecting businesses. Quick thought. Washington Week, we've been doing a little bit of a series since the new president took office because he generates a lot of news. And this week, I wanted to touch on something that keeps hanging around, and that's the Corporate Transparency Act. Now, many of you, according to recent polls, aren't even aware of it, but this is where we all were supposed to, that own businesses, to register with the federal government. In the name of cutting back on laundering of money, drug money, et cetera, et cetera. And there's been a big, big pushback in the courts. And the Treasury this past week announced that they're just not going to enforce it against small businesses. So if you're doing less than $5 million a year in revenue and 20 or less employees, then the Treasury unilaterally announced a pause. But that doesn't mean the law has been shot down in any way, even though in two courts currently it has been found unconstitutional. But keep your eyes open. A lot of people have called me, emailed me. They're resisting registering their businesses with the federal government, and a bill has been filed, probably more than one, in Congress to repeal the act. So stay in touch, be aware of it, because the fines, if you don't register and they decide to enforce it, they are pretty powerful, my friends. Very, very big fines. So keep an eye on it. The Corporate Transparency Act. Well, you're in the right place if you want to learn about the latest business news, get ideas to improve your business, and participate in conversations that can make a real difference to your business. I want to remind you that the show is being broadcast live on YouTube today. So if you'd like to watch us as well as listen, just go to YouTube, look up the Weekly Business Hour page, and you can click on there and you can watch as well as listen. Also, I encourage everybody listening to the show, if you've got a comment about what we're doing, you have a topic you'd like to hear us talk about, or you want to ask me a question, a business question, feel free. Just email it here to the station. My email is real simple. It's Rick, R-I-C-K, at irlonestar.com. That's Rick at irlonestar.com. I will respond to you personally, or we may just bring it on the show in our mailbag segment and answer your questions so everyone can benefit about what your challenge is. Well, today we've got a very interesting group of people in the studio. How's the word interesting? Does that work? I'm really pleased to have representatives, part of the super staff that we have at Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce, which is growing in leaps and bounds like so many businesses in our areas. And today we have Pauline Veazey. Did I get that right? I got to remember these French names, you know. Recently, I got to take some more French. That's what it is, folks. Pauline is the manager or runs the day-to-day operations of the chamber. An official title is Vice President of Operations and Finance. And then we've got Riley Borchgardt. Almost got that one, Riley. Very important position. She oversees special events. And this chamber puts on wonderful, wonderful events that the community can participate in. So it's a great thing to connect with. Well, I'm going to turn it over to y'all for just a moment. Each one of you, Pauline, why don't you lead off? Tell us a little bit about yourself, your business career, and what you're doing at the chamber.
Well, thank you very much for inviting us to be on this show. So the Conroe Lake Conroe Chamber is in business to help businesses. So we strive to be the leading business organization for our county, and right now we are doing that. So we want to make sure that businesses are represented at all levels of government through our advocacy, and we want to make sure that we are listening to the needs of businesses, and anything we can do to help with any pain points, we want to make sure that we're there to help address those. So that's long and short what we do. In order for those things to happen, we have events to help support those programs. We bring education to our businesses. So if you're a small business, maybe a mom and pop, and you only have yourself, and you don't have access to human resources, so we would bring in people to help you walk through that. There are things that happen at different levels of employees, 10 or 25, that you need to be aware of. And so we want to make sure that we bring that education to our businesses also.
Well, my observation is, and I've been a member of a number of chambers over the years around the greater Houston area, you guys do a wonderful job. You just sort of hit on all the right buttons for a business. A lot of the things you do, many businesses I'd suggest that our members don't really know about or really care about. I mean, they like the events, they like the after hours this, they like the networking, but the advocacy, trips to Austin, which you had recently, and trips to Washington to advocate. I mean, you represent the community in front of government, and y'all do so much more. I tell you, I love to receive the Monday newsletter, e-newsletter, and there's always 3 or 4 events or ribbon cuttings. That's something I think people miss out on, because if I've got a few minutes at the time the ribbon cutting's happening, I'll go by the ribbon cutting, because there's always a group of chamber members and new businesses, and I always find it exciting to check in with people. It's an unusual opportunity, but it really does work.
It is. I liken ribbon cuttings to weddings or babies being born. You've poured your heart and soul into get this business up and running, and then we get to be there and celebrate. So it is a great opportunity for you. If someone's in an industry or might be a referral partner for you, you can meet them in a closer setting than you might get to at a networking event, because our networking events are pretty big now, Rick. We have over 100 people at every one we host. So these ribbon cuttings are a little bit smaller, more intimate, and you can get to know this new business partner. And so it really warms my heart when we go to a ribbon cutting and we see 5 or 6 businesses that have partnered together that are vendors that help put on this ribbon cutting. So it's really good to watch.
Yeah, you're 100% right, because it is. Every time I go, I make some new connections, because you can sit and talk typically, or stand and talk, whatever. But it's great. It is a great opportunity, and just one of the very small pieces of the puzzle that you guys have put together to run on so well on a daily basis. Riley, you run all the quote-unquote special events, which the calendar is full of them, as you probably well know.
And it just gets fuller, yes.
Well, you finish one and you start another, or maybe you start one before you finish one. I mean, it just keeps going.
Absolutely.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I actually started over at the Montgomery Area Chamber of Commerce, and when we made the merger, I came on to work with Steve in the marketing department at Conroe. And once Courtney Boudreaux left to go to the Montgomery County Food Bank, I stepped into this position, and I started with Chairman's Ball, so now I'm on to Taste Fest, and it's been fast and furious.
Well, you got to really enjoy what you're doing, because there's long hours typically, I assume, and what I've seen over the years.
Yeah.
And you put on great events. I mean, this chamber, again, you do a great job all the way around. Maybe I should go look for something you don't do that's so great. But I really, seriously, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, this is a great organization, and they take our dues and our contributions and money raised in special events, and they spend it very wisely and effective and efficiently. And I encourage, which I may do again, so forgive me, anyone that's listening that is within range, if you will, join the Chamber of Commerce, the Conroe, Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce. Check it out. Go to the website, just look at a couple, 3 pages, look at everything that's going on. And everybody involved, it's from people that are solos to companies that have hundreds of employees. And it's really neat to see how even the big guys get down, they send people to the events. Lots of great connections to make for you, your business, or just, personally. A lot of good friends that have been friendships that have developed from these meetings. Well, let's kind of get down to the chamber. It's growing. Pauline, back to you. Talk about that growth and kind of the crystal ball in the near future of where things are going with the chamber.
So we just finished working on our 3-year strategic plan. So we've set some goals for ourselves. The goal for the chamber is to increase our membership level by 20% over the span of 3 years. That is not a stretch goal for us. It's very doable. We've seen a lot of growth in Montgomery County. We're just not seeing things at places outside of Texas, outside of our region. We're just not seeing some issues that are popping up, and I think that's pretty normal for Montgomery County. And so we are just here to help businesses grow and thrive, and I think when you know that and you see the work that we do, I think people want to be part of that. We have a good track record. We've been here, we're on our 91st year, so we just celebrated our 90th anniversary last year. We are the only accredited Chamber of Commerce in Montgomery County, so the only one. We are a 5-star accredited chamber, so what that means is we are in the top 3% of all of the chambers across the country. So that's something we're very proud of. We are very transparent when it comes to finances and how we do things and our governance, so we're proud of those things.
Yeah, that 5-star does reflect, because I got a chance several years ago to learn the inside out of what that meant, what it took and what the chamber went through. But the evaluation, yeah, it means you're a complete chamber. That's the way I look at it. You do it all and you do extremely well to get to a 5-star. There's no doubt about it. But the business climate, we know it's growing, it's bustling. What do we expect over the next 3 to 5 years? Is it going to continue? I mean, the country's experiencing a little bit of a slowdown. Inflation is on everybody's mind. We personally see it when we buy groceries or go out to eat, and people are just talking about it. What do you or what does the chamber feel the impact of that's going to be on Montgomery County?
Well, I think like everyone else, I think we'll feel a little bit of that. But like I said, Montgomery County is pretty well insulated from a lot of those pendulum swings that we see across the country. One of the things that we are doing is we are listening to our businesses. So if you're seeing a pain point that we can help you with, we're working towards those. Just like our event that's coming up, Taste Fest. A lot of our hospitality restaurants, they struggled, especially with COVID. So that was a very hard impact on them. So this event is focused on those to showcase our hospitality and our restaurants and our caterers to make sure that people know they're still here and that they're providing great service and great food for us.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned the restaurants, but apparently in Houston as well, they have been hard hit. And I read the Houston Business Journal on a weekly basis, and so many restaurants are closing, ones that have been in business a long time, some that haven't, but it just every week they announce, seems like 5-10 different restaurants are going out of business. So there's a lot of pressure on that industry, which I can understand because the cost of going out to eat is pretty amazing in many cases, how much it's gone up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our first break of the program, and when we come back, we're going to get into the Taste Fest event. Pauline just mentioned it. It's a great event. The chamber here does it a little bit different than some of the other chambers in the area, and I think it's very interesting, and hopefully you'll find it interesting as, again, a benefit of being a member of the Conroe, Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce. So please stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1 and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
Does your company have needs that can be met by an employee who is dependable, hardworking, enthusiastic, motivated, cooperative, respectful, and punctual? Conroe Independent School District Special Education Department can meet your needs by connecting you with potential employees that have been preparing for a lifetime of employment. We have numerous individuals seeking paid and unpaid work experiences. If your company is interested in seeing how we can meet your business needs, call Conroe ISD Special Education Department to find the best employees for you at 936-709-7671.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rick Schisler. You're listening to the Weekly Business Hour, and we've started off on a great discussion. Again, I encourage you, send an email to me. Communicate with me, rick@irlonestar.com. You got a comment about the show, you got a business question for your own business. I take those questions as well, and we answer them either on the air or a direct reply from myself. So drop us a line, rick@irlonestar.com. Well, we're going to switch gears now. We're going to talk about some of these events that I guess we've been saying how great they are. And one of the big reasons they're great is because Riley's in charge, right?
Right. Yes.
So let's talk about Taste Fest. It's one of my favorite events with some changes this year, I've noticed. So
Yes.
talk to us about what Taste Fest is about and how people or why people should buy a Taste Fest pass.
Yes.
Boy, I'm just stumbling on my words. I
It's a tongue
apologize.
twister. So Taste Fest is actually just like Pauline was saying, to showcase our food, beverage, hospitality, restaurants, all of that in the chamber. It's free of charge for chamber members to join in on this, and it's actually a 9-week event. So we'll kick things off this Thursday at the Lone Star Convention Center for the launch party. That'll go from 5 to 8 p.m. And then after that, you'll take your digital taste pass and go around to these restaurants that are participating. And it's not even just restaurants. We have Tropical Smoothie Cafe, the Firm Meadery, so a lot of different options. You'll go around, cash in your freebie, and enjoy the restaurant while you're there. So it's just a really great event to showcase those people. The switch you're talking about is in the past we've had the physical booklets, so this year we're transitioning to a digital taste pass. It's been really great so far. We have lots of people coming to the launch party. We expect to have anywhere from 400 to 600 people coming this Thursday. So a lot of foot traffic for those people. And yeah, it's a really great event to get involved with, whether you're a restaurant or you want to try some different restaurants in Montgomery County.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun thing for the participants as far as getting a pass and just look at the list of restaurants and at your leisure over the next, 5-6 weeks, pick one out and go by and get a tasting. What is a tasting?
So it normally is a 4 to 6 ounce sample, but we have lots of different things coming in, like crepes of Brittany. You can get all kinds of delicious crepes. Another great thing about going from the physical to the digital is now it's giving those vendors the chance to offer multiple tastings throughout the 9 weeks. So they could have a different tasting every week, or they could stick to just one for the whole 9 weeks. Crepe of Brittany is actually going to offer different crepes every week. So there's that. Tropical Smoothie will have smoothies. Wings and More, you actually get a whole basket. So it can be anything from a 4-ounce sampling plate at Uncle Bob's to a full meal at Jersey Mike's or Wings and More. So lots of different.
Now, it only covers one visit, though, doesn't it? I mean, there's no repetitive going back to Brittany's. Crepes, so you can go back?
Every week you could go back and get a different
Oh, my.
tasting. So it offers the chance for these vendors to get even more foot traffic than they've seen before.
Right.
And another thing is we're going to get all this data from people cashing in their redemptions, and we can share that with the restaurants so they could see the value of joining in on this.
the history. It's been around a lot longer than I thought. I just learned that.
Yes.
Talk to us about that history. I mean, this goes way back.
Yes, so it's actually been around for almost 30 years at this point. Before COVID, it was actually it was called the Culinary Extravaganza, which was a one-night event. And during COVID, or after COVID, the chamber realized that we need to get people into these restaurants so that they can see even more value. So that's what we started to do, and people have loved it ever since, and we've kept with it, and now we're just making changes to make it even better.
You know, I was sitting here thinking about, and I've said it at least twice, maybe more, how expensive it can be to go out and eat.
Yes.
And here's an opportunity to, I mean, if you want, you can just order the tasting, I guess. You don't have to buy anything. This is just go have some fun, preferably with, you know, your significant other or just whoever, and enjoy yourself. So it's a great opportunity to get out, as well as support small businesses. And these restaurants, again, based on what I see in Houston, and there's a lot of them that are really, really suffering right now. It's very interesting to watch the economics of the restaurant business. So people, if you're listening, our restaurants, all of us at one time or another go out to eat regardless. Now, it may be fast food, but we go out to eat. And this is a way to go out to eat, maybe at a place you normally wouldn't go to. And you can walk in and have a tasting, again, with no additional charge. And it gives you a chance to kind of explore if you're one of those kind of people. And I find that part of it very interesting and a lot of fun, too.
Yes, and the passes are actually $35 for a chamber member and only $50 for the general public. So even if you're not a chamber member, you can still purchase this. I was always going to 3 or 4 restaurants around here, and last year when I participated, I have 4 or 5 different ones that I've never tried before now that I go to regularly as well. So I'm very excited myself for this year just to go around and see all the different vendors and try tastings everywhere.
It's a great event. Pauline, do you have anything to add to Taste Fest?
I love the event, and similarly to Riley, there were some restaurants that I had seen but I hadn't stopped by, so the Taste Fest, the Taste Pass motivated me to go in, and now they are on my rotation, so I have to go in. It's a great opportunity for restaurants to get that foot traffic.
Yeah, it's really, it's a fun thing. I mean, it makes sense the way when you listen to what it is, but when you get out there and go in, and in a lot of restaurants, I always got treated like royalty after I said I was there for a tasting. I mean, they really rolled out the red carpet, trying to make hopefully a positive impression, in which it's always been a positive impression.
Yes.
So they're putting themselves out there for the public, and they're giving away free food, so to speak. So there's no reason not to do this. I encourage people. If someone wants a pass, how do they get a pass?
So you're more than welcome to come by the chamber and we can walk you through how to do it. But you can also just go to www.conroe.org and purchase it right on there as well. And you can buy a Taste Pass now, you could buy it on the 27th, or you could even buy it in April and get a late start and just get a lot of tastings in really quick. But we'll offer the chance for people to buy it from now until May 31st too. So.
Okay. Well, it's real easy to do. I know that.
Yes.
I'm a little bit hesitant about that digital part, but I'm sure I'll figure that out. So, but it's a neat idea. I think it's cool. Data is invaluable. There's no doubt about it. Well, as I've mentioned again multiple times this morning, you guys do a lot of different events,
We sure
and there's a lot of wonderful events coming up after Taste Fest. Let's touch on those. Talk to us about them, Riley.
So we actually have Athena coming up on July 18th this year. That is a day when we get nominations in for a woman in the community that mentors young women, community engagement, and we honor her that day. We also have pop-up shops that come out to Margaritaville for this luncheon, and proceeds from that will go towards a local nonprofit. But at this event, we also have a higher level speaker, and we have nailed down our speaker for this year, but we're not going to talk about that quite yet. But it's always a higher level, like Erin Brockovich. Last year we had Joan London, so you can expect to see that kind of value there.
Yeah, I'm amazed to have that level of speaker
Yes.
to come to our area. And this is a very special event, ladies and gentlemen. I believe, and I've been involved in the nomination process, and I think one year someone asked for a recommendation. I can't imagine they want me to recommend, but I recommended and did believe, according to the criteria, that they were very, very qualified. So it is a great opportunity in the community to give recognition, and those in the business world that are familiar with the Athena take it serious. I mean, they recognize that this is not just handing out a plaque or some kind of award. This is the person that wins. It's meaningful.
Absolutely.
And the selection process is third party, isn't it? I mean, the
Yes.
final, so it's not like our friends, your friends get together at the chamber in the back room and say, well, I like what she does, or I like this, that. It's the organization, the Athena organization.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take in those nominations and we'll send it out to them for them to
Which
make
is
the
an
final
extensive
decision.
package. There's
Yes,
no
it
doubt
is.
about it. Well, another wonderful event. Great to honor those people. Networking every month in the chamber. Talk to us, Pauline. I mean, you guys have some wonderful networking
We
events.
do. We have 3 standard networking opportunities that we offer every month. We have a coffee network that is the first Wednesday, and that's in Montgomery. Right now, we are at the Montgomery Chick-fil-A, right there on 105. We are quickly growing out of that space. Last month, we have over 90 people inside a Chick-fil-A. We got to know people on a personal level.
Excuse me.
But
Step on somebody's toes.
I know, but it was great. We do different things at our networking events. Sometimes we do have your commercials. Sometimes it's get to know referral partners. Sometimes it's find somebody in your industry. So we give those opportunities for you to really connect and really network with people. We also have our morning mingle. That's the second Thursday of every month. That we host at different restaurants around. We are growing into that. We had 120 people at our last one. Again, the same type of networking event. So we might give you a name tag and say that has famous people on it and say, go find your famous duo, your dynamic duo. So I would have to, if I were Ginger Rogers, I would have to find my Fred in the group. And Fred and I may not have met anywhere except for at this networking event. So it's a really good opportunity. And then the favorite one for everyone is our Fun After 5, and that's on the third Thursday of every month, and that happens at 5:05 p.m. And it, again, travels also, depending on who the host is. We just finished up at the Wood Forest building with Wood Forest, Dean and Draper. And they hosted the event for us, and we were outside playing basketball. So it was a great event, again, where you can meet people that you may not meet during your everyday business interactions.
Right. Well, yes. Again, I think over the last year or two, you've injected even more fun into your events. That one particularly is different. And the newer event being the one that takes place at Montgomery. And now you said 90 people, and I didn't make that one, and I'm sitting here thinking, thank goodness. I mean, but 90 people in the back end of, if you will, or front end of Chick-fil-A,
Right.
that's quite a crowd.
It is.
That just, I mean, that's amazing. I think when I went a month or two before, it looked like maybe 50 people, and it was a good crowd.
It is.
And so, well, that's great. Congratulations on y'all providing that direct networking for those whose businesses can benefit from that.
Absolutely.
So it's a great thing. Advocacy, we talked about that a little bit early on, particularly with the legislative bodies at the state and national level. Pauline, dig into that a little more for us. Tell us some other things, because y'all do a lot of other things that people need to be aware of.
We do. Advocacy, we have shifted to focus on that with our strategic plan. So it's one of the things that we found and our board found was important for us to pay more attention to. We were doing a good job, but now it's a focus. So we've been to Washington, D.C. We've talked to secretaries. We've talked to different departments, Department of Energy, Education, all of those things to talk about how the legislative body and how those organizations are impacting our local business. We've started paying attention to what businesses are telling us with more detail. So at our networking events, we have a board that says business bumps and bruises. So if you're having an issue with your business, we have Post-it notes and you can put it on our board. And we bring those back, we categorize them, and then we help figure out either education resources or maybe people we need to talk to more about permitting or water or the state of the business in Montgomery County. So we get the opportunity to hear what people are saying, and we get to use those voices.
You know, one of the things that I think a lot of people, and I don't know how many times I've shared that you guys do, and you sort of indirectly touched on it there, is that when I have a question about business, you mentioned permitting this, I can call on the chamber and you're going to help me find a connection. I had one of the members of our nonprofit roundtable 2 or 3 months ago ask something, I can't remember exactly what, but it was a business question. I said, have you talked to the chamber? And the ED kind of looked at me, surprised, the chamber. I said, yeah, they're there. They can help you. And if they can't, they'll refer you to somebody that can help you. It's all about connection. So.
And you mentioned nonprofits, right? A lot of people don't know that the chamber supports nonprofits also. We have over 125 nonprofits in our membership because we believe that we're only as good as our most vulnerable population. So our community gets stronger when our vulnerable people are taken care of. And so we believe in that and we support. We have give back days with the chamber. We do blood drives. We do school supply drives. We do get back to work days that started in Montgomery, and we're expanding to do Willis this year. So it's a good thing to support your nonprofits, and our chamber knows that.
Well, there's no doubt about it because I'm directly involved in that. You support a nonprofit roundtable. I think we have 15, 16 nonprofits that attend once a month. And it's a roundtable, and they talk about their businesses. Our mission in that group is to increase and strengthen their businesses. Many times nonprofits are not the most well-run organization, but I never cease to be amazed how the nonprofits in the group are just amazing people running them as a business, because it's important that they survive, they thrive. In the community, like you say. So yeah, the chamber does. They support that group, and I've been glad to be of service to that group over the last few years since it was founded. Marketing, O'Reilly marketing promotion. There's a number of things the chamber does in that area as well.
Yeah, so as Pauline talked about, ribbon cuttings are a really great way to market a new business that joins the chamber. Not only do we bring a crowd to their business when they're opening their doors for the first time, but we also put it on social media. We give them all the pictures that we took, so if they weren't able to have a photographer there, they still have those. It's just a really great showcasing moment when you're trying to get your name out in the community. Another thing that we do is our chamber directory. We actually just had the guide come out. It was just published and printed, but that has all of our chamber members listed on there. We give it out to all the advertisers that contributed, and we also give it out to the hotels in the area, realtors, those kinds of people, just to get it out in the community. And lastly, we have the chamber calendar and community calendar. Not only do we post our events on there for people to get involved with, but we also have our chamber members post events that, we might not be a part of, but we're still trying to support. Another great thing we do is on social media. If you're a small business and you hit a milestone and you're trying to tell the world, we'll make sure to share that and get it out to as many people as we can. So we're really trying to support everyone at every different level there.
Well, again, my perspective, I keep saying this, I'm like a proud mother. You guys do a wonderful job, and that's a serious evaluation because, again, I've joined chambers. I personally see the value in every business being connected to their local chamber as a place to get information, as a place to find membership, networking groups. It just goes on and on and on. There's no doubt about it. And it's not just for big companies. And big might be 5 employees in your mind. If you're a solo, the chamber has a lot of solo members, some are very active in the chamber. So it's nobody's excluded. It's not a big boy club, at least not here in Montgomery County. And that's, I've been a member, 8-9 years since we moved in this area, so, and I have my business. Well, I deeply appreciate both of you coming up. Do you have anything you want to share before we end our segment together?
I just want to say thank you for having us on and allowing us to talk about the mission of the Chamber and how we are making Montgomery County stronger and better together.
Yes.
Riley?
Thank you so much. And don't forget to buy your taste passes. Yeah.
Well, and I will add too, since y'all didn't mention him, Scott Harper is the president and the leader that's put together what I call a super team.
Yes,
And so you've got a great leader, in my opinion, my humble opinion. And I'm glad he's here, and I'm glad the Chamber's here. And I wish you the very best. If someone wants to get more information, what's the best way for them to do it?
So they can visit conroe.org, O-R-G, and that'll give you some basic information. You can always call the Chamber. That number is listed on the website as well.
Okay.
And you're more welcome to stop by. Gigi Peacock, our Director of Membership Sales, is willing to always have a conversation with anyone.
Well, and maybe pick up a taste
A
fest
taste
pass,
pass,
right?
exactly.
That's a one way to
Yes.
experience it, right? A good way.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you again, ladies, for coming in today and sharing with us all that information. This chamber just does so much, so much. Great value, great investment on people's part, I believe. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take another commercial break. And when we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about creating a workforce for your business that puts you at the very, very top of your game. So if you would, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question, comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station on irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
Hey y'all, it's DJ Mike from Dance Time in Texas. Join me Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. as I count down the top 10 Texas Red Dirt songs that are packing the dance floor. I'll be featuring local artists and the story behind the hits, shows in the area, as well as new songs that make you want to dance. It's Dance Time in Texas with DJ Mike on Lone Star Community Radio, 104.5 KCZW and 106.1 KZCC, Conroe, Texas, or online, irlonestar.com.
Lone Star Boxer Rescue is a nonprofit organization serving Montgomery County and surrounding areas, dedicated to the health and well-being of the boxer breed. Lone Star Boxer Rescue is run and managed 100% by volunteers since 1999. Our main objective is to rescue, rehabilitate, and rehome boxers that come to us from many sources, including local animal shelters, owner surrenders, and strays. For more information about Lone Star Boxer Rescue, visit our website at lsbr.org.
Lone Star Community Radio is looking for those who are interested in hosting their own talk show. With monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the message line at 936-647-3776 to take your first step into the radio world.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Weekly Business Hour. I'm Rick Schisler. I'm your host. Hope you enjoyed the show so far. Again, I think the Lake Conroe Chamber of Commerce, a great investment for local businesses, a chance to connect as well as get your business out there. And you have a wonderful resource if you have issues, questions, challenges related to the local environment. Today, I want to talk a little bit, and before I get started, I want to mention something, if I can back up real quick. I want to mention for local businesses, those in Montgomery and the surrounding counties, you can be a sponsor of the Weekly Business Hour. I mentioned at the beginning of the show that Lone Star Community Radio is a nonprofit, but you can be a sponsor, a contributor. It's a fully deductible contribution, and we will put you on the board, and you will get certain announcements and things as part of the family here at Lone Star Community Radio. So if you'd like to connect yourself, your business, with the weekly business hour, Lone Star Community Radio, please reach out to me. Again, same email, rick@irlonestar.com. Become a sponsor, support community radio right here in Montgomery County. Well, I want to do my one best consult tip of the week. It's been several weeks since I've done one because, quite frankly, we were having such great discussions with our guests. We let things kind of run their course. But I think it's time to kind of back up a little bit and talk about some things that very, very important in this case, I believe. I happen to be an advocate of this, and that's your workforce. A lot of time is spent on process of hiring, the questions to ask in an interview, the process of promoting, the process of terminating. It's all these different steps that some of which eventually probably all that we will go through. And we've talked about those over the last 10, 12 years more than once and had a number of experts come in and share with us some great tips and ideas and approaches that will make you, if you adopt them, better than your competition. But what I want to talk to today is about creating a workforce for your business that is top-notch. I mean, first and foremost, I believe in most every business, workforce is the heart of the business, the people you hire to work in your business, whether they're filling orders or they're making a delivery, whether they're building something, whether they're out fixing something, working in the office, paying your bills, on and on. This is your workforce. And it's so important and very challenging for small businesses, particularly when you start up, to find the right people to fill the slots in your business. And I contend, and it's been my experience, that you in every business has a culture. At least that's the popular name for it. You have a way as the owner that you run the business. It's your business, but it is your business. You've made an imprint on it with your personality, your approach, your ethics, and so on and so forth. And you want to hire people, generally speaking, who will match up well with that. Again, many businesses don't spend much time talking about that issue. They talk about the processes of hiring, training, so on and so forth. And that's good. Those sharpen your list up and checklist and make you better at doing those things, almost mechanical in some sense. But have you really thought about and reduced to paper or on a computer to print of what kind of person, generally speaking, would fit best in your business? And most importantly, if you've done that or thought about it, do you go out and look for those kind of people? I mean, obviously, it starts with recruiting and hiring. And if you're doing the hiring direct yourself are involved, then you can look for those qualities yourself. If you're allowing someone else, whether it be a third-party recruiter or someone in your business to handle the upfront work and do the initial interviewing, then you've got to share with them what these values are. Make sure they understand your culture because they're representing your company. And again, I contend every company has a little bit different culture. So it's important that you take the culture that reflects your values, your ethics, your desires, your goals for yourself and your company, and try to bring people into the company that will support those goals, that their personalities, their character, their work ethic, et cetera, will match up as much as possible with those. Recruitment and hiring is a never-ending process. Now, I know that stops a lot of people when we're talking about subjects like this. You never stop hiring. I was in a conversation a couple of weeks ago with a business group, and a majority of the people in that group agreed, and I was interested because 5-10 years ago, well, I don't have time for that. That's too much trouble. Why would you do that? Well, if it's a constant process, and it can have a low speed and a high speed, okay? At least once a month was the thing I used to, the type of process that I promoted myself within, and when I went out and started working with other companies. Once a month minimum, advertise the position, whatever that means to your business. If you use a recruiter on a regular basis, use them and cast the net and see what's in the marketplace right then and there, even though you don't have a particular opening. But what area do you think you're weak in? What area do you need to boost your employee group in that area, whether it's the one guy that does the building or the one guy that fixes things or the 5 people that you put on trucks to go out and fix things. If you've got a weak link, someone who's not really measuring up, then that's a good reason to be out looking. But better yet is you never know when the person that you might be looking for at some point is going to come along. And I've even seen well-run, very successful businesses hire somebody that they really didn't need that skill set and whatnot at that time, but they brought them in because they were such a great candidate. Their profile, their skills, their attitude fit so well into the company. And they brought them in, and they were ready, and in some cases made a decision to terminate somebody and pull this person in to the group to fill that slot, and they had them right there. That wasn't an emergency hire when I've got to find a body with a pulse. I've been through those times when you can't find people. Some people say that's happening in some places in our country right now. You don't ever want to be there if you can avoid it. There's no doubt about it. But you've got to go further. You've got to develop your culture in your business, a culture of respect, reliance, and success. Each and every employee at some level needs to accept that and be motivated by that and want to be a part of that. Again, this goes beyond a list of job skills needed, of expectations, of job descriptions. This goes in building your company in a way that fits you and that will bring the success that you're looking for, not me, you. And that's why it's so important to give some thought to this, develop this, pull a profile together. I was part of a, I don't know whether you want to call it a study, but in our family business, we started to expand and we needed to hire management level people to be remote managers. And what the family did is they took me and profiled me through the various tests and whatnot to give them a sense, because they knew who I was and what my character was and what my pluses and minuses were. And they used that to develop just such a profile like we're talking about. Someone who would fit in the culture. And it was interesting. And at the time, I didn't really recall that I was being used as a guinea pig, but that's one way to approach this issue, is to build your own profile from people that already work for you and then use that. And there's many other ways to do it as well, but it's important that you consider that. You want to build the workforce for your business, then you need to take some time and develop it. If you've got questions, please let me know. Just drop me a line. Again, rick@irlonestar.com. I'd be glad to respond to your questions, and perhaps we'll even bring it up on the air. But my tip of the week is creating a workforce for your business. Not my business, your business. As we roll down to the end of today's show, I was reading an article, and that led me to kind of get curious and do a little bit of research of who do we give credit to for helping me or helping you, helping us realize our vision in starting our business? Who do you give credit to? And there recently was a discussion group formed, and people emailed in their position, who helped them, how, whatnot. Of course, one of the ones at the top of the list, my spouse helped me, my parents helped me. Interesting, though, when parents are mentioned, usually it also includes the idea that they provided some financing to get the business off the ground. But others, parents, father, mother, worked in a business, they took the business over. So obviously they're the ones that provided the guidance for these individuals to take over a business, start a business. It's really, really interesting, though. And others, they talked about systems. They implemented systems in their business that they were taught, and that's what helped them, most importantly, helped them to be successful in their business. Others, lots of trial and error, right? I think we all go through trial and error. But systems, you got to have the right systems, they contended. That individual did. Others gave credit to networking. Some gave credit to a coach, a business coach, mentor, consultant like myself. And in one case, I thought it was kind of interesting reading the comments. They gave credit to the biggest customer they have, because the biggest customer they have encouraged them to start their own business, and in turn they became a customer of the startup's business. And I thought that was really interesting. The encouragement came from a customer. So the question to you as we wind up this week is, who encouraged you? What encouraged you? What was the number one secret weapon maybe that you had that encouraged you to help find your business vision and achieve it and realize it? It's an interesting question. And one of the things that showed through in several of these responses was, don't ever stop learning. Always look for opportunities to learn something, to improve your knowledge in general business, your business, skills, whatever it might be. And then you end up, and I'll close with this because it kind of threw me for a loop, but after I sat and thought about it for a minute, I said, that's the world we're in. One individual gave full credit for helping him realize his business vision to YouTube. He said that it was the single most important source of information, encouragement, so on and so forth, for him to start his business and begin to realize his business vision. So I guess, folks, in closing on this issue, we can always turn to YouTube, right? Very interesting. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our show today. I appreciate the Chamber allowing Pauline and Riley to come visit with us, part of a super staff there, and I encourage you, if you're in the Conroe, Lake Conroe area, to check out membership and become connected to the Chamber. And if you're outside the area, check on your local Chamber. I'm sure they provide some or all of the services and opportunities that our local Conroe, Lake Conroe Chamber does. Put a note on your calendar. Hopefully next week, 11 o'clock, we'll be back right here at irlonestar.com at 11 a.m. With another guest to talk about business. Look for the video podcast of today's program in the next day or two. It'll be posted on social media under the Weekly Business Hour page on Facebook, YouTube. Also, you can find it on Lone Star Community Radio's website, and that is located at irlonestar.com. And so, as I always close, until next week, stay engaged and always keep your focus on what counts in your business. Thanks.